When a smug boss publicly insults a black employee, calling him incompetent and out of place in front of the entire team, he has no idea the employee is the new regional director Undercover. And this act of bias is about to trigger a company-wide reckoning that exposes deep-seated discrimination and ignites a movement for workplace equity and respect. The fluorescent lights of Quantum Tech's open office floor in Houston cast harsh shadows on the sea of cubicles, the air humming with the tap of keyboards and the murmur of phone calls. At 38, Tyrone Brooks blended into the crowd, his lean, athletic build clad in a plain blue shirt and khakis, his short fade and deep brown eyes reflecting quiet focus as he typed a report at a shared desk. But Tyrone wasn't just any employee. He was a newly appointed regional director of Quantum Tech, a tech firm specializing in AI for underserved markets, undercover on the CEO's request to evaluate team dynamics. Raised in Houston's 3rd Ward, where his grandmother raised him after his parents' passing, Tyrone had turned grief into grit. Scholarships to MIT, a startup sold for $50 million, and a career championing black tech talent. Watch the room, then lead it, his grandmother had said, her voice firm over Sunday dinners. This sting was his way to expose corporate bias. Managers who undermine black workers, blocking promotions with subtle sabotage. Tyrone had started as a temp analyst a week ago, his resume scrub of accolades to see if Quantum valued merit or appearance. He overheard whispers, black colleagues overlooked for leads, jokes about diversity hires. It mirrored his early career, bosses assuming his ideas were too aggressive. He finished his report, his composed demeanor hiding a strategic mind. Enter Victor Lang, the 52-year-old department head, striding to the floor like a conqueror, his paunch straining a buttoned vest, balding head shiny under the lights, narrowed eyes scanning for faults. White and privileged, Victor ruled with an iron fist, inherited from his father's connections but sustained by favoritism. Lang stopped at Tyrone's desk, his lips curling. "Brooks, what the hell is this mess?" he barked, snatching the report. Heads turned. Co-workers shifted uncomfortably. Tyrone looked up calmly. "It's the quarterly analysis, sir. I highlighted efficiency gaps in..." "Gaps? You mean your incompetence?" Lang interrupted, his voice booming. "You look out of place here, like you wandered in from the streets. We don't need your kind dragging down the team." The slur hung heavy, a code for black and unqualified. Gasps rippled. A young Asian co-worker pulled out her phone, recording discreetly. Tyrone's pulse raised, but he didn't flinch. He'd faced this before, VC meetings where his pitch was dismissed as urban fantasy. "With respect, sir, the data shows." "Respect? Earn it, boy." Lang laughed, a harsh cackle. "You're a joke, lazy, unqualified. Pack your crap and get out. We don't tolerate mediocrity." The floor fell silent. The recorder captured it all. Tyrone felt a familiar burn, his mind flashing to his grandmother's eviction when he was 8, the landlord sneering, "You people never pay on time." "Sir, this is unfair," he replied evenly. "Unfair? Life's unfair for people like you." Lang snarled. "Security." 2 guards approached, one Latino with a hesitant frown. Tyrone stood, a small smile tugging at his lips. "Before I leave, mind if I make a call?" Lang crossed his arms, triumphant. "Call whoever. You're fired." Tyrone dialed, his voice low. "It's me. Activate Protocol Alpha." The line clicked. Lang snorted. "Protocol? This ain't a movie." But the elevator dinged and out stepped Elena Ruiz, Tyrone's 35-year-old Latina VP of Operations, her no-nonsense bob framing a determined face, sharp suit exuding power, flanked by HR and a board representative. "Mr. Lang," Elena said, her voice cutting the air, "we need to discuss your position." Lang blinked, confusion creasing his brow. "Ruiz? What's this about?" The board rep handed over papers. "Mr. Brooks is our new regional director, effective today. He's been undercover to assess the team." Tyrone's eyes met Lang's, his deep gaze now steel. "That's right. I've been evaluating operations, and you..." The floor erupted in murmurs. The Asian co-worker's video was uploading. Lang's face drained of color, his scowl crumbling. "You direct or..." Tyrone nodded. And you just showed me why changes are coming. Bias like yours kills teams. Lang stammered. I didn't know it was a mistake. Elena shook her head. A mistake that humiliates employees? We've got recordings. Flashback. Tyrone in his third ward kitchen. Studying late nights. His grandmother brewing coffee. Lead with heart, but strike with strategy, she'd say. He'd turned that into a $50 million empire, funding black tech talent. The guards hesitated. Co-workers cheered. Marcus Hayes, Tyrone's 55-year-old black mentor, his broad shoulders in a tailored suit, salt and pepper beard framing a wise face, stepped in from the crowd. Lang, your prejudice ends today. We're restructuring. Applause swelled. A black employee clapped. But as security approached Lang, Tyrone's phone buzzed. An anonymous text. The CEO's in on it. Check the executive files. The insult had sparked a promotion, but what Tyrone uncovered next would threaten the entire company. The Houston afternoon sun streamed through Quantum Tech's office windows at 1:30 p.m. West Africa time on Monday, September 29, 2025, casting a resolute glow over cubicles, now a battleground for justice. Tyrone Brooks, 38, stood in the open floor space, his lean, athletic build poised in a tailored suit, short fade sharp, deep brown eyes gleaming with purpose. The viral video of Victor Lang's racist insult, calling him incompetent and out of place, unaware he was a new regional director, had sparked hashtag Quantum Justice on X, rallying employees for change. Exposing Lang's bias had shaken his reign, but the anonymous text, the CEO's in on it, checked the executive files, hinted at a deeper conspiracy threatening Tyrone's mission. Raised in Third Ward, Tyrone had built a tech empire to uplift black talent, and he'd uncovered this plot to secure Quantum's equitable future. Elena Ruiz, the 35-year-old Latina VP of Operations, her no-nonsense bob framing a determined face, reviewed executive files in the office at 1:45 p.m. West Africa time. The CEO, Richard Holt, is rigging promotions to favor white executives, she said, her voice tight. He's colluding with Lang to bury minority talent. Tyrone's pulse quickened, recalling his grandmother's fights against workplace discrimination. Holt's involved? He asked, his strong jawline set. Elena nodded. He's using HR to block your hires. Tyrone's mind flashed to his MIT days, outsmarting professors who doubted his coding skills. Quantum was his chance to redefine tech, and he'd fight to the end. They called Aisha Khan, the mid-30 South Asian civil rights lawyer, her sharp suit and piercing gaze resolute, to a secure Houston loft at 2 p.m. West Africa time. Aisha spread documents. Holt's emails show he's bribing the board with $3 million to maintain the bias, she said. He's laundering it through offshore accounts. Tyrone's heart sank. Picturing his third ward meant relying on his jobs. We need proof, he said. Maria Chun, the 28-year-old Asian-American data analyst, her nervous eyes now steady, met them in a shadowy Montrose cafe at 2:15 p.m. West Africa time, clutching a USB drive. I hacked the executive server, she whispered, fidgeting with a pen. Holt's meeting the board tonight to finalize the cover-up at the HQ. Tyrone's jaw tightened, thinking of his grandmother's words. Watch the room. He asked, Can you get us in? Maria nodded. I've got the security codes. Marcus Hayes, the 55-year-old black mentor, his broad shoulders filling a tailored suit, salt and pepper beard framing a face etched with wisdom and fire, joined him in a community center at 2:30 p.m. West Africa time. Holt derailed my startup in the 90s, he said, his intense eyes dark. He's a corporate predator. Tyrone recalled Marcus's fight against tech bias. We expose him at HQ, he said. Tyrone and Aisha infiltrated Holt's meeting at Quantum HQ at 3 p.m. West Africa time. Tyrone in a maintenance uniform, his deep brown eyes scanning, and Aisha in a sleek dress with a hidden recorder. They spotted Richard Holt, a 55-year-old white man with a weathered face, gray hair, piercing blue eyes, a tight-lipped smirk, deep wrinkles, and an air of corrupt authority. Laughing with Victor Lang, a 52-year-old white man with a paunch straining a buttoned vest, balding head shiny, narrowed eyes scanning for faults, both in expensive suits. Brooks is out, Holt said. Bias stays. Aisha's recorder caught it. but a guard stare forced a quick exit. Back at the office, Tyrone rallied Elena, Marcus, and Sarah Ruiz, the 40-year-old Latina HR director, her no-nonsense bob and sharp dark eyes focused, to confront the team at 3:30 p.m. West Africa time. Sarah presented a report. Holt's cover-up would stall 50 minority promotions. Victor Lang, his scowl now panicked, hovered silently, his bias exposed. Tyrone played Aisha's recording, Holt's voice damning. The team cheered, demanding equity, but the CEO's voice crackled over a call. "You're stirring trouble, Brooks. My allies have leverage." That afternoon, at 4 p.m. West Africa time, Tyrone sat with Jamal Carter, 28, his lean frame in a hoodie, short dreads framing a hopeful face, warm brown eyes, in their Third Ward home. Jamal showed ex-posts. "Tyrone's a leader. Hashtag quantum justice." Tyrone nodded, but his phone buzzed, a leaked HR memo. Holt's allies are planning a hostile takeover. The insult had exposed bias, but a corporate coup loomed. The Houston Evening cast a defiant light over Quantum Tech's office at 6 p.m. West Africa time on Monday, September 29th, 2025. The open floor space now a hub of resistance under fading sun. Tyrone Brooks, 38, stood among the cubicles, his lean, athletic build poised in a tailored suit, short fade sharp, deep brown eyes burning with resolve. The hashtag quantum justice movement on X, sparked by Victor Lang's racist insult, had united employees and exposed Richard Holt's executive cover-up, but the leaked HR memo, "Holt's allies are planning a hostile takeover," revealed a corporate threat to Tyrone's vision. Raised in Third Ward, Tyrone had built a tech empire to uplift black talent, and he dismantled this coup to secure Quantum's equitable future. Elena Ruiz, the 35-year-old Latina VP of Operations, her no-nonsense bob framing a determined face, reviewed takeover plans in office at 6:15 p.m. West Africa time. Holt's allies include Gerald Tate, a board member, she said, her voice taut. He's orchestrating the takeover to reinstall Lang. Tyrone's pulse surged, recalling his grandmother's battles against corporate overreach. "Tate's a mastermind?" he asked, his strong jawline firm. Elena nodded. "He's using shareholder votes to force you out." Tyrone's mind flashed to his MIT startup, outsmarting investors who doubted his leadership. Quantum was his mission, and he'd fight to the end. They called Aisha Khan, the mid-30 South Asian civil rights lawyer, her sharp suit and piercing gaze resolute, to a secure Houston warehouse at 6:30 p.m. West Africa time. Aisha clutched a tablet. "Tate's emails show he's bribing shareholders with $4 million to back the takeover," she said. "He's hiding it through shell companies." Tyrone's heart sank, picturing his Third Ward men counting on his jobs. "We need his strategy," he said. Maria Chun, the 28-year-old Asian-American data analyst, her nervous eyes now steady, met them in a shadowy Heights diner at 6:45 p.m. West Africa time, clutching a USB drive. "I traced Tate's meetings," she whispered, fidgeting with a pen. "He's convening shareholders tonight at a downtown hotel to seal the deal." Tyrone's jaw set, thinking of his grandmother's words. "Watch the room." He asked, "Can you get us in?" Maria nodded. "I've got the room codes." Marcus Hayes, the 55-year-old black mentor, his broad shoulders filling a tailored suit, salt and pepper beard framing a face etched with wisdom and fire, joined them in a community. Hall at 7 p.m. West Africa time. "Tate crushed my tech firm in the 90s, he said, his intense eyes dark. "He's ruthless." Tyrone recalled Marcus's fight against corporate takeovers. "We exposed him at the hotel," he said. Tyrone and Aisha infiltrated Tate's shareholder meeting at a downtown Houston hotel at 7:30 p.m. West Africa time. Tyrone in a waiter's uniform, his deep brown eyes scanning, and Aisha in a sleek dress with a hidden recorder. They spotted Gerald Tate, a 60-year-old white man with thinning gray hair, a stern frown, furrowed brows, downturned lips, a double chin, and a commanding but cornered expression, laughing with Richard Holt, a 55-year-old white man with a weathered face, gray hair, piercing blue eyes, a tight-lipped smirk, deep wrinkles, and air of corrupt authority, both in expensive suits. "Brooks is gone by dawn," Tate said. "Takeover is locked." Aisha's recorder caught it, but a security guard's stare forced a quick exit. Back at the office, Tyrone rallied Elena, Marcus, and Sarah Ruiz, the 40-year-old Latina HR director, her no-nonsense bob and sharp dark eyes focused, to alert the team at 8 p.m. West Africa time. Sarah presented a report. Tate's takeover would reverse 100 minority hires. Victor Lang, his scowl now fearful, hovered silently, his bias exposed. Tyrone played Aisha's recording, Tate's voice damning. The team roared, demanding justice, but Holt's voice cut in. "You're out of your depth, Brooks. My legal team's ready." That night, at 9 p.m. West Africa time, Tyrone sat with Jamal Carter, 28, his lean frame in a hoodie, short dreads framing a hopeful face, warm brown eyes, in their third ward home. Jamal showed ex-posts. "Tyrone's a warrior. Hashtag quantum justice." Tyrone nodded, but his phone buzzed a leaked legal brief. Holt's team has filed a lawsuit to strip your authority. The insult had exposed conspiracy, but a legal battle loomed. The Houston night enveloped Quantum Tech's office at 9 p.m. West Africa time on Monday, September 29th, 2025, the open floor space aglow with determination under artificial lights. Tyrone Brooks, 38, stood among the cubicles, his lean, athletic build poised in a tailored suit, short fade sharp, deep brown eyes alight with resolve. The hashtag quantum justice movement on X, ignited by Victor Lang's racist insult, had united employees, exposed Richard Holt's conspiracy, and thwarted Gerald Tate's takeover. But the leaked legal brief, "Holt's team has filed a lawsuit to strip your authority," signaled a judicial threat to Tyrone's leadership. Raised in Third Ward, Tyrone had built a tech empire to uplift black talent, and he'd outmaneuver this legal challenge to secure Quantum's equitable future. Elena Ruiz, the 35-year-old Latina VP of Operations, her no-nonsense bob framing a determined face, reviewed the lawsuit in the office at 9:15 p.m. West Africa time. "The suit's backed by Carla Evans, a corporate lawyer," she said, her voice tense. "She's arguing you lack qualifications to lead." Tyrone's pulse steadied, recalling his grandmother's fights against legal bias. "Evans is a lawyer?" he asked, his strong jawline firm. Elena nodded. "She's using forged records to question your credentials." Tyrone's mind flashed to his MIT struggles, proving his coding genius against doubters. Quantum was his legacy, and he'd fight to the end. They called Aisha Khan, the mid-30s South Asian civil rights lawyer, her sharp suit and piercing gaze resolute, to a secure Houston loft at 9:30 p.m. West Africa time. Aisha clutched a tablet. "Evans's filing shows she's colluding with Holt to discredit your MIT degree," she said. "She's hiding it with falsified audits." Tyrone's heart lifted. Picturing his Third Ward men's thriving under his guidance. "We need evidence," he said. Maria Chun, the 28-year-old Asian-American data analyst, her nervous eyes now steady, met them in a shadowy River Oaks cafe at 9:45 p.m. West Africa time, clutching a USB drive. "I hacked Evans's legal files," she whispered, fidgeting with a pen. "She's meeting Holt tomorrow at a law firm to finalize the case." Tyrone's jaw set, thinking of his grandmother's words. "Watch the room." He asked, "Can you get us in?" Maria nodded. "I've got the office codes." Marcus Hayes, the 55-year-old black mentor, his broad shoulders filling a tailored suit, salt and pepper beard framing a face etched with wisdom and fire, joined them in a community center at 10 p.m. West Africa time. "Evans buried my patent in the 90s, he said, his intense eyes dark. "She's a legal shark." Tyrone recalled Marcus's fight against corporate lawfare. "We exposed her at the firm," he said. Tyrone and Aisha infiltrated Evans's meeting at a downtown law firm at 10:30 p.m. West Africa time. Tyrone in a courier's uniform, his deep brown eyes scanning, and Aisha in a sleek dress with a hidden recorder. They spotted Carla Evans, a 50-year-old white woman with a pinched face, graying bob, pursed lips, furrowed brows, a stern expression and a calculated but guilty gaze, conspiring with Richard Holt, a 55-year-old white man with a weathered face, gray hair, piercing blue eyes, a tight-lipped smirk, deep wrinkles, and an air of corrupt authority, both in professional attire. "Brooks's degree is fake," Evans said. "Lawsuit wins by noon." Aisha's recorder caught it, but a receptionist's stare forced a quick exit. Back at the office, Tyrone rallied Elena, Marcus, and Sarah Ruiz, the 40-year-old Latina HR director, her no-nonsense bob and sharp dark eyes focused, to strategize at 11 p.m. West Africa time. Sarah presented a report. Evans's lawsuit would undo 150 minority hires. Victor Lang, his scowl now shattered, hovered silently, his bias exposed. Tyrone contacted MIT, securing his original transcripts at 11:15 p.m. West Africa time, proving his credentials. At 11:30 p.m. West Africa time, he confronted Evans at the firm, playing Aisha's recording live on X, exposing the forgery. The law firm dropped the case. Holt faced scrutiny. X buzzed. Hashtag Quantum Victory trended as employees posted. Tyrone's a genius. Hashtag Quantum Justice. Quantum's board suspended Holt, promoting 200 minority staff by 12 a.m. West Africa time on Tuesday, September 30th, 2025. At a team meeting in the office, Tyrone declared, "This is our workplace. Merit for all." Cheers echoed, Jamal beaming in the crowd. That night, at 1 a.m. West Africa time, Tyrone sat with Jamal Carter, 28, his lean frame in a hoodie, short dreads framing a hopeful face, warm brown eyes, in their Third Ward home. Jamal showed X posts. "Tyrone's our hero." Tyrone nodded, but his phone buzzed. A leaked board memo. A rival firm is targeting Quantum's contracts. The insult had sparked a victory, but a corporate rival loomed. The Houston Morning broke over Quantum Tech's office at 8 a.m. West Africa time on Tuesday, September 30th, 2025. The open floor space radiant with victory under the rising sun. Tyrone Brooks, 38, stood among the cubicles, his lean, athletic build poised in a tailored suit, short fade sharp, deep brown eyes glowing with triumph. The hashtag Quantum Justice movement on X, sparked by Victor Lang's racist insult, had united employees, exposed Richard Holt's conspiracy, thwarted Gerald Tate's takeover, and crushed Carla Evans's lawsuit. But the leaked board memo, a rival firm is targeting Quantum's contracts, hinted at a new corporate threat. Raised in Third Ward, Tyrone had built a tech empire to uplift black talent, and he'd outsmart this rival to cement Quantum's equitable legacy. Elena Ruiz, the 35-year-old Latina VP of Operations, her no-nonsense bob framing a determined face, reviewed contract data in the office at 8:15 a.m. West Africa time. "The rival is Horizon Tech," she said, her voice steady. "They're poaching our AI clients to undermine your leadership." Tyrone's pulse quickened, recalling his grandmother's warnings about industry sabotage. "Horizon's a threat?" he asked, his strong jawline firm. Elena nodded. "Their CEO, Harold Vance, is targeting our underserved market contracts." Tyrone's mind flashed to his MIT days, outmaneuvering tech giants who dismiss his ideas. Quantum was his vision, and he'd fight to the end. They called Aisha Khan, the mid-30s South Asian civil rights lawyer, her sharp suit and piercing gaze resolute, to a secure Houston boardroom at 8:30 a.m. West Africa time. Aisha clutched the tablet. "Vance's proposals show he's bribing clients with $5 million to switch," she said. "He's masking it through consulting fees." Tyrone's heart swelled. Picturing his Third Ward meant excelling in tech. "We need a counteroffer," he said. Maria Chun, the 28-year-old Asian-American data analyst, her nervous eyes now steady, met them in a quiet Galleria cafe at 8:45 a.m. West Africa time, clutching a USB drive. "I hacked Horizon's client list," she whispered, fidgeting with a pen. "Vance is pitching at a tech summit today at 9 a.m. West Africa time to seal the deals." Tyrone's jaw set, thinking of his grandmother's words. Watched the room. He asked, "Can you get us in?" Maria nodded. "I've got the summit access." Marcus Hayes, the 55-year-old black mentor, his broad shoulders filling a tailored suit, salt and pepper beard framing a face etched with wisdom and fire, joined them in a community center at 9 a.m. West Africa time. "Vance stole my code in the 90s, he said, his intense eyes dark. "He's a tech predator." Tyrone recalled Marcus's fight against industry theft. "We outbid him at the summit," he said. Tyrone and Aisha infiltrated the tech summit at a Houston convention center at 9:30 a.m. West Africa time. Tyrone in a sharp suit, his deep brown eyes scanning, and Aisha with a presentation. They spotted Harold Vance, a 65-year-old white man with a hawkish face, silver hair, sharp narrowed eyes, thin lips and a sneer, high cheekbones with wrinkles, and a commanding but smug demeanor, pitching to clients in an expensive suit. Quantum's leadership is weak, Vance declared. Aisha projected Maria's data, revealing Vance's bribes, live on X. The audience gasped. Vance's smirk faded. Back at the office, Tyrone rallied Elena, Marcus, and Sarah Ruiz, the 40-year-old Latina HR director, her no-nonsense bob and sharp dark eyes focused, to celebrate at 10 a.m. West Africa time. Sarah presented a report. Vance's poach failed. 300 contracts secured. Victor Lang, his scowl gone, lingered silently, his bias exposed. Tyrone launched a hashtag tech equity campaign, partnering with Unity Bank for $800 million in minority tech loans, ensuring Quantum's growth. By 11 a.m. West Africa time, clients reaffirmed loyalty, joining the equity push. X erupted. Hashtag Quantum Triumph trended as employees posted, "Tyrone's a pioneer." Hashtag Quantum Justice. Quantum became a tech equity leader, promoting 300 black staff by 12 p.m. West Africa time. At a team rally in the office, Tyrone declared, "This is our industry. Opportunity for all." Cheers resounded, Jamal beaming in the crowd. That afternoon, at 1:32 p.m. West Africa time, Tyrone sat with Jamal Carter, 28, his lean frame in a hoodie, short dreads framing a hopeful face, warm brown eyes, in their Third Ward home. Jamal showed X posts. "Tyrone's our icon." Tyrone nodded, but his phone buzzed. A leaked industry report. A global consortium is eyeing Quantum's AI patents. The insult had sparked a revolution, but a global threat loomed. The Houston skyline glittered under a midday sun at 2 p.m. West Africa time on Tuesday, September 30th, 2025. But in Quantum Tech's headquarters, the air was electric with hard-won peace. Tyrone Brooks stood at the head of the open-floor office, now a symbol of resilience. The hashtag Quantum Justice movement had not only survived a racist insult, a CEO's conspiracy, a hostile takeover, a vicious lawsuit, and a corporate poaching campaign. It had thrived. Yet, the leaked industry report, a global consortium is eyeing Quantum's AI patents, hung in the air a final, shadowy threat. Tyrone knew this wasn't another skirmish. It was the war for Quantum Soul. Elena Ruiz approached, her expression not of alarm, but of grim resolve. "It's the Ethelred Group," she said, her voice low. "A multi-billion-dollar fund. They don't want to compete. Tyrone, they want to absorb us, dismantle our equity model, and own our AI for underserved markets." Tyrone's gaze swept over the diverse, thriving team. He saw Jamal mentoring a new coder, saw Maria leading a data huddle. This was his grandmother's dream made real. "They see our success as a threat to their monopoly," he stated. "We won't let them erase this." This time, there was no secret USB drive, no undercover infiltration. Tyrone gathered his core team, Elena, Aisha, Marcus, Maria, and Sarah. "We've been playing defense against their individual attacks," he declared. "It's time to go on the offensive. We take our case directly to the world." The plan was audacious. Instead of reacting to Ethelred's move, they would launch a preemptive strike. Maria and her team compiled a white paper on ethical tech, showcasing Quantum's revolutionary financial and social success under Tyrone's leadership, contrasting it with Ethelred's history of exploitative practices. Aisha prepared a legal and moral framework, positioning Quantum not as a takeover target, but as the new industry standard. Marcus Hayes made the pivotal call. "I have friends at the Federal Trade Commission. They've been looking for a case to challenge anti-competitive mergers that hurt minority innovation. This is it." The showdown did not happen in a shadowy boardroom, but on the global stage, a live-stream tech ethics panel that Ethelred CEO, a faceless titan named Alistair Croft, was using to preach empty corporate responsibility. As Croft spoke in platitudes, Tyrone, from the audience, stood up. "Mr. Croft, Tyrone Brooks, CEO of Quantum Tech. You're eyeing our patents to suppress the very model that proves tech can be both profitable and equitable. But we're not for sale." Croft, flustered, tried to dismiss him. "This is unprofessional speculation." It's a declaration, Tyrone interrupted, his voice calm but carrying the weight of his entire journey. We are publishing our model open source. We are inviting every small, minority-led tech firm to build with us. And we are filing with the FTC to block any attempt by Ethelred to acquire any company in this space on the grounds of predatory anti-competitive behavior. He turned to the camera. The era of closed bias systems is over. Talent is universal, but opportunity is not. Quantum is now a platform to change that. This isn't just our company. It's a movement. The room erupted. Back at Quantum, the team watched, heart swelling. Alistair Croft was left speechless. His consortium strategy unraveled not by a hidden recording, but by a bold, public vision. Hashtag conclusion with a bang. 1 year later, on the anniversary of the movement, Tyrone stood not in the office, but on the stage of a massive Tech for All summit, with his grandmother's portrait projected behind him. Quantum Tech, now a certified worker-owned cooperative, had become the engine for 1,000 new startups. The Ethelred Group, under FTC scrutiny and public pressure, had collapsed. Victor Lang had been convicted of discrimination. Richard Holt and his co-conspirators were facing federal charges, but they were footnotes. Tyrone looked out at the crowd, at Elena, now his COO, at Maria, his chief innovation officer, at Jamal, who now ran Quantum's flagship community incubator. We didn't just win a fight, Tyrone said, his voice echoing through the hall. We rewrote the rules. That day, a man tried to use prejudice to insult my talent. But he had no idea he was not just insulting one man. He was insulting an idea whose time had come. He was insulting a future he couldn't see. He paused, letting the silence build. That insult was a spark. And from that spark, we built a fire that burned down the old, rotting structures of bias and exclusion. And from those ashes, we are building a new world. Not just for some, for all. The applause was deafening, a thunderous roar that wasn't just for a victory, but for a revolution begun. The story of the undercover director was now legend, the foundation of an empire of equity, and a permanent warning to every smug boss in every corner office. The person you underestimate is the one who will change your world. Subscribe and share to join our fight for change. Tyrone's triumph reshapes tech. Stay tuned for more stories of justice.